It was a warm summer night in July of 2022. I was 16 years old. My friends and I were at a party that took place in a field in our village, which has around 8,000 inhabitants. We had a few drinks and the mood was fantastic. Suddenly, we ran into an old buddy and his 12-year-old sister and started chatting with them. I hadn't seen him in a long time, so it was really nice meeting him again. Also, his sister was way more mature as I had remembered her. While we were talking, I noticed an attractive young girl about my age. She caught my eye, and to my surprise, she walked over to me, and we struck up a conversation. Her name was Emma, and she had this effortless charm that made it easy to talk to her. As we talked, she suggested we find a quieter place. I agreed, and we headed towards a small wooded area next to the field. The moonlight was shining through the trees. We exchanged our Instagrams and continued our conversation. There was an instant connection, a feeling like we had known each other for ages. As the conversation deepened, the topic of intimacy came up. Emma looked at me with her piercing blue eyes, and a few moments later, we saw ourselves making out in this forest. It became more and more intense. We both had to go to the toilet, so we just walked a few steps in opposite directions. As we both came back, we continued, and Emma gave me head. Later, we wanted more, and Emma said, "Let's go to your place." My heart skipped a beat, but I managed to nod, and we packed our bikes and rode to my house. The ride was filled with excitement and a bit of nervousness. When we arrived, she made herself comfortable on my bed. Just as things were getting more intimate, the door suddenly swung open, and there stood my mother, looking furious. "We'll talk tomorrow," she said sternly. I felt a bit embarrassed, but at that moment, I was too captivated by the evening's events to care much. Emma gave me a reassuring smile. After a few moments, we were kissing again, and things started to get really wild. Her facial expressions and the sounds she was making showed that she really liked it. I just wish my bed wouldn't have been that loud. The next day, my mother did indeed have a talk with me. I was so uncomfortable, as you can imagine. Emma and I continued to see each other, and over the following weeks, our bond grew stronger. We shared more late-night conversations and spent time together. It wasn't long before I realized that meeting Emma had been a turning point in my life. One evening, a few weeks later, Emma and I decided to visit our special spot in the woods. We brought a blanket and some snacks. As we lay there side by side, she reached out and held my hand. The warmth of her touch sent a shiver down my spine. "I've never felt this way before," she whispered. "Me neither," I replied, feeling my heart swell with emotion. Looking back, that warm summer night in July was the beginning of something beautiful. It taught me about love, trust, and the importance of taking chances. And most importantly, it brought Emma into my life, changing it in ways I never could have imagined. A few weeks later, she betrayed me with my cousin.